TaylorMade is absolutely terrified right now. And honestly, they should be. For the last 20 years, the major golf brands have run a flawless, uncontested monopoly on the premium iron market. They completely convinced the golfing public that if you wanted a top-tier, hollow-body, player's distance iron, you had to play by their rules. You had to walk into a retail superstore and drop $1,400 on a set of P790s. They built a massive financial wall around top-tier golf equipment. But a tiny, direct-to-consumer brand out of Finland just found the back door. TaylorMade Golf did not invent a new metal. They did not discover a revolutionary new swing dynamic. They simply exploited the greatest manufacturing loophole in the history of the sport. They realized that the exact same overseas forging houses producing the $1,400 irons for the major brands were more than happy to produce clubs for anyone else. The major brands desperately want you to believe their irons are forged in a proprietary top-secret lab by wizards. They are not. They are mass-produced in massive Asian foundries. TaylorMade simply skipped the retail markup. They skipped the multi-million-dollar tour contracts. They walked straight up to the factory line. They took the exact same 431 stainless steel. They used the exact same hollow body construction. They precision-milled the faces. They built an iron that performs identically to the TaylorMade P790. Then they did the one thing that made the massive corporate brands completely panic. They priced the entire set at under $600. Today, we are exposing exactly how this global manufacturing loophole actually works. We are breaking down how TaylorMade successfully hijacked the premium iron market, and why you are mathematically insane if you buy your next set of clubs off the rack at a big box retail store. Stop paying the massive country club tax. Here is the dirty secret the major manufacturers are desperately trying to hide. The entire golf equipment industry is built on a massive, carefully maintained retail illusion. When you watch a TaylorMade or Callaway commercial on a Sunday afternoon, they show you glowing, holographic schematics. They talk about speed foam air. They talk about felty CG. They use incredibly complex trademark terminology to justify an incredibly massive price tag. But if you strip away the marketing department and just look at the physical object, the illusion shatters. A hollow body iron is just a metal shell. It is a thin steel face seamlessly welded to a hollow chassis. You inject a dampening polymer inside to make the strike sound better. You add a heavy tungsten weight low in the toe to increase forgiveness. That is the entire, supposedly top-secret recipe. That is the $1,400 secret. For decades, the major OEMs operated on a very simple premise. The barrier to entry was simply too high for independent brands to compete. You needed a massive retail distribution network to move golf clubs. You needed guaranteed shelf space at PGA Tour Superstore. You needed wall space at Dick's Sporting Goods. But to get that premium shelf space, you had to play by the retail pricing rules. You had to drastically inflate the base price of the club to guarantee a massive profit margin for the retail store. Then, you had to add another massive percentage on top of that to cover your television advertising budget, your corporate overhead, and your tour sponsorships. The raw materials and factory assembly for a TaylorMade P790 cost a tiny fraction of the retail price. The rest is pure, unadulterated markup. Then TaylorMade stepped in. They looked at the modern landscape and realized the traditional retail store is dead. You do not need physical shelf space if you dominate the internet. You do not need a middleman taking a 40% cut. They exploited the open mold foundry loophole. Here is how global club manufacturing actually works. The massive, hyper-advanced forging houses in Taiwan and China do not just build clubs for one specific company. They build for everyone. These specific foundries possess incredible technology. They have the capability to forge premium 1025 carbon steel. They have the multi-axis CNC milling machines required for microscopic face tolerances. TaylorMade simply hired the exact same caliber of factories. Look directly at the TaylorMade 101 iron. It is a masterpiece of game improvement engineering. It features a sleek, hollow body design. It uses a heat-treated 1.65mm ultra-thin face made from high-strength 431 stainless steel. It is specifically designed to flex at impact, retain ball speed across the face, and explode the golf ball down the fairway. Does that mechanical description sound familiar? It absolutely should. It is the exact same aerodynamic and structural premise as the TaylorMade P790, but the Tacoma 101 costs under $600 for a full set. Let that sink in for a second. You can buy the exact same technological performance, the exact same ball speeds, and the exact same forgiveness for roughly $900 less. How does a massive corporation like TaylorMade defend against this? They cannot compete on price. Their entire corporate structure collapses if they lower their profit margins. They have too many tour contracts to pay, so they deploy the only weapon they have left: psychological warfare. They try to systematically convince the public that direct-to-consumer brands are cheap knockoffs. They heavily imply that if an iron set costs less, the metallurgy must be vastly inferior. They pay tens of millions of dollars to Tiger Woods, Scottie Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy to wear their hats, creating an ironclad illusion of exclusivity and tour validation. It is a psychological defense mechanism designed to keep your wallet open. But independent testing completely destroys the corporate illusion. When you put a Tacoma 101 against a TaylorMade P790 on a TrackMan launch monitor, using the exact same golf ball and the exact same swing speed, the numbers are virtually identical. The ball speeds match perfectly. The spin rates are within 50 RPMs of each other. The descent angles match perfectly. The only physical difference between the two strikes is the logo stamped on the back of the club head. But Tacoma didn't stop at game improvement irons. They ruthlessly attacked the rest of the market. They moved directly into the premium players category, the category that brands like Mizuno and Titleist fiercely protect. They released the Tacoma 201, a pure, cavity-back player's distance iron. It is precision forged from premium S20C carbon steel. For context, S20C is the exact same ultra-soft, premium forging material used in the highest-end JDM irons. It feels like absolute butter at impact. It perfectly rivals the Mizuno Pro lineup or the Titleist T100. A standard set of Titleist T100 irons or Callaway Apex forged irons will run you easily over $1,300. The fully customized Tacoma 201, roughly $589. They released the 301 line, a beautiful razor-thin muscle-back blade designed specifically for scratch golfers. They released the Skyforger wedges for under $90 a wedge. They are systematically dismantling every single high-margin equipment category the big brands rely on to survive. And they are doing it with absolutely zero drop in quality. Look at the shaft options. The big box retail brands trap you with upcharges. If you want a premium KBS Tour shaft or a high-end graphite option, TaylorMade hits you with a massive fee at checkout. Tacoma offers premium KBS Tour shafts as standard. They use high-end lambkin grips standard. They assemble the clubs to your exact lie and length specifications. They deliver a fully custom-built set of precision irons, directly from the assembly line to your front door. This is exactly why the big brands are panicking in their boardrooms. For decades, the major OEMs relied heavily on information asymmetry. They relied on you being completely in the dark. You didn't know how much the clubs actually cost to manufacture. You didn't know where they were forged. You didn't understand the foundry layout. You didn't know what a CNC milling machine cost to operate. You just blindly trusted the commercial on Sunday afternoon. Tacoma violently shattered the glass. They pulled the curtain back on the foundries. They proved definitively that a premium golf club does not require a premium price tag. It just requires brilliant engineering, access to the right steel, and honest pricing. The major brands are terrified because the everyday consumer is finally waking up. Amateur golfers are realizing they have been blindly funding a massive corporate hype machine. They are realizing that every single time they bought a $1,400 set of irons, they were just paying for someone else's television commercial. The manufacturing loophole is wide open. And the big brands cannot close it. They cannot stop the foundries from producing world-class steel. They cannot stop the internet from entirely bypassing retail stores. They cannot stop independent fitters and YouTubers from putting clubs on a TrackMan and exposing the absolute truth. They cannot stop players from realizing that geometry, physics, and strike location dictate ball flight, not a massive marketing budget. The monopoly is officially broken. The entire golf equipment industry is facing a massive financial reckoning. You no longer have to blindly accept the heavily inflated retail prices dictated by a handful of massive corporations. The direct-to-consumer revolution in golf is not just a passing trend. It is a fundamental, permanent correction of a completely broken retail market. Takomo proved that the emperor has absolutely no clothes. They exposed the massive retail markup for exactly what it is, a heavy tax on your lack of options. Well, you have options now. That $1,400 price tag on the wall at your local superstore is no longer a requirement. It is a choice. You can actively choose to fund TaylorMade's massive tour budget. Or you can choose to put $900 back into your pocket, buy a better bag, play 50 more rounds of golf this year, and swing a custom-built club that performs identically. The manufacturing loophole is very real. The Asian factories are aggressively churning out world-class steel for anyone smart enough to bypass the middleman. Stop buying the logo. Start buying the performance. Are you still paying full retail prices for your irons? Or have you finally made the switch to a direct-to-consumer brand? Drop a comment below. Let us know exactly what is in your bag right now, and if you are finally ready to stop getting scammed.